So you want to sell firewood? You want to make a little extra cash? Or do you want to run a business? Depending on the size of your operation, you're going to need a lot of space. What do you do if you're running out of space? What kind of equipment are you going to need? How are you going to store the wood? What are you going to do with all the cutoffs and the leftovers? You're going to need stuff like this? Like these? Or like this? What about supply? Do you need a truck? Are you going to deliver your firewood? Or are you going to pick up your own supply? What's going on YouTube? This is Anthony, and I'm going to talk about what's it like running a firewood business. I've been selling firewood for 12 years and I've learned a lot. The first thing you're going to have to decide is how big you're going to get into this, because it takes a lot of equipment, a lot of space. As you can see, it's not a joke trying to run a firewood business with all the inventory that you can acquire and with how much customer base you can get depending on where you are. Let's talk about customers. So if you want to open up a business, who are you going to be selling to? What kind of an area do you live in? Do you live in a colder climate where many people depend on it for heat? Or do you live in a city where most people depend on fireplace for, ambience, for a novelty? Or are you selling firewood to customers who need it for smoking food? Are you going to sell hardwood only for heat and longevity? Or do you have a customer basis where you could sell some softwood for outdoor burning? One way to get wood for free is get it from tree service companies. I live in the city of Toronto where there's plenty of trees, and there's always a tree that needs to be cut down at some time or another, so I have access to a huge supply. I have to go pick up my wood, but once in a while, if I get lucky, they'll come and deliver the wood right to my wood yard here. Do you live on a property where you have lots of acreage and you can cut the firewood yourself? Now obviously when you do that, you need something to haul the wood out from the woods. But if you have a property like that, you probably have some type of machinery that can haul the wood out of there anyway. Are you going to be buying logs on a trailer? 12 cords on a trailer, making that purchase? Is that going to be worth it for you? Should you go about it that way? Do you have suppliers that are willing to bring the wood to your property so that you can pay them for delivery, pay them for the wood, and you can get your money back after you process it? Now when you get a log truck and you get those long logs, you probably want a processor, which is a big sum depending on what size you want and how fast it is. Buying a load like that, you can do all the cutting yourself and you can split it in this little splitter that you have. You don't necessarily need a whole processor, but obviously a processor is a lot faster than anything that you can get out there. If you're going to be needing a vehicle to haul around your wood, how far are you going? You're just staying on your property. Do you want a dump trailer or do you want a dump truck? Pickup truck is just not enough. It's better off if you get something that's 3/4 ton and bigger, because firewood's heavy and you're going to need it for the wood, especially if you're hauling green wood or wet wood, because that stuff is heavy. I got my truck with the mind of being able to go out to the tree service company's job sites and pick up wood and deliver the firewood when I have to sell it to the customers. I can just dump it, no problem. You see I have these IBC totes here, and these come in handy, but the thing is, if you're going to get your wood delivered to your customer's house, maybe you have a machine that can load these up onto your truck, but you got to empty them by hand, and I think they're pretty flimsy that you don't want to be tipping them over and stuff all the time. I think they'll just collapse over time and get ruined. I'll stack the wood in here nice and neat when it has lots of time to season to compress the space, because I have a pretty narrow space. But then I'll stack it loose when I don't have to worry about space. And also, as it gets closer to the point where you have less than a year to season wood, then you can put it in these crates loose and it's going to dry a lot better because they don't get the best air circulation in them. I'd say about 98% of the wood that I have in the IBC totes will season fully in 1 year. But once in a while, you get a few pieces, maybe some honey locust, maybe some oak, stuff that doesn't dry too well. It's not going to be ready. What you can do is just put that aside and give it another 3 months of season. You're going to need a lot of equipment for this business, and the best thing to do is invest in a lot of machinery. It's going to cost you a lot if you really want to be productive. Consider this: firewood is archaic. We've been using firewood for heat since the beginning of time. We're still using that resource. Now we have natural gas and other fuels that are drilled out of the earth, which takes a lot of technology, but when it gets to the end user, it's as simple as a flip of a switch. So in terms of weight and volume, firewood's value is very low. That's why you're going to need all kinds of machinery, and the process that you want to have is for the business to be as automated as possible. The less you touch firewood with your hands in the process is the better. So it's nice if you have a fast splitter. Imagine this: I sell one of these crates for $150 Canadian, which is about $125 US. The ones that are stacked nice and tight, not these loose ones. These ones are probably about 3/4 of what a full one actually holds. But if you had one of these full, it's 150 bucks, and it's gonna fill the back of a pickup truck with an 8-foot box. Now let's compare that cost to what else we could fill the truck with. So let's say you went to the grocery store and you filled up the back of the pickup truck with groceries. That'll probably run you about $1,000 to $1,500. So you can see the value for firewood, and its volume is just not there. That's why you got to pump it out quick. Remember, the first year of your business is pretty much going to be a loss because you're not going to be selling much wood because you have to dry it. But once you start that yearly cycle, then you're going to have wood for every year, and you keep processing wood for every season. What about chainsaw? Get something that's heavier duty, nothing that's light, depending on how much you're cutting. But it's good to have a bigger saw so that you can do your cuts a lot quicker and save yourself time. What do you do with your leftovers? All the chaff, all the cutoffs, all the bark, all the chainsaw sawdust? Well, as you can see here, I got a few things going on here. I get these small cutoff pieces and I throw them into bags like this, and I sell those for a price. I have the kindling bags, which is just basically chaff that comes off of the machine. Simple. And then I have the cutoffs, and I have uglies. You see these ugly pieces, people aren't going to want to buy that for firewood, but you never know. Maybe you have some customers who have outdoor boilers and they can just burn the junky stuff that's, you know, lost its integrity and it's starting to rot a little bit. Obviously not too rotten because, you know, you got no heat value in there, but just all these funny twisty pieces, those could be sold to a customer with an outdoor wood boiler, or you can keep them yourself if you have a wood stove. When you get specialty woods, you can make extra money off of that. And what I do is take all of these coins or rounds or whatever you want to call them, and I chop them up into small pieces and I sell them as smoker wood chunk. And I make them about this size, and I get about double the amount for the firewood because I'm selling it in chunks for a specialty wood. In my area, which is what's part of the northeastern United States and central and eastern Canada, here we get apricot, we get apple, cherry, beech, mulberry, sugar maple, red oak. All those flavors I'll bag up and sell for smoker wood. So I hope this helps you out if you're starting a firewood business, but remember, this is going to take a lot of hard work and a lot of time. So you got to put in your patience, and you got to put in your strength, and you got to put in your perseverance to get things done and get a business going. Thanks for watching, guys. Like, subscribe, share, comment, and all that good stuff.